Well, the tensions have escalated sharply along the India-Pakistan border, with both nations now locked in the most serious military exchange in decades. Early this morning, India launched retaliatory strikes targeting at least 4 Pakistani air bases, including Noor Khan, Murid and Rafiki, in response to a wave of overnight drones and missile attacks by Pakistan across Punjab, Jammu and Kashmir. Explosions were heard in Srinagar and Pathankot, even as smoke was seen rising from Rajouri after fresh shelling. Pakistan had launched coordinated drone attacks on 26 locations across India last night, including Khasa Cant in Amritsar. The Indian Army confirms multiple hostile drones were intercepted and destroyed. The BSF also reported significant damage inflicted on Pakistan's Ranger posts in Jammu after unprovoked firing. Now, today, Foreign Secretary, Indian Army Colonel and Wing Commander had a press briefing to apprise the country of India's operation against Pakistan's escalation. They said that Pakistan fired high-speed missiles at an airbase in Punjab, damaging equipment and several Indian Air Force stations. Now, India hit back with precision strikes on military targets as well. Wing Commander Vyomika Singh slammed Pakistan's malicious misinformation campaign, denying claims of S-400 damage. Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri called Pakistan the provocator, insisting India's response was measured and responsible. Well, let me bring on board my colleagues Sumit and Sumita, who have been tracking these developments very closely, to join into a conversation. Sumit and Sumita, to take it away. We also have a guest joining in now, Commodore retired J.S. Singh, and let's go across to all three of them. Sumit and Sumita, take over. You have been tracking this story very closely from on the ground. Take us through the details and take over.
Right. Absolutely. Let's first, before going to the guest, and I would request my guest to just hold on for just a few minutes, because let me just recap what the Foreign Secretary said today in his briefing. There were a couple of points that stood out. Number one, that Pakistan is running a targeted misinformation, disinformation, propaganda campaign, and that needs to be busted. In fact, Foreign Secretary stated that it's Pakistan's own agencies that are propagating this misinformation and disinformation campaign. For example, they want to foment communal trouble right here in India. He also spoke about the fact that air bases in Sirsa, for example, and several other facilities, which Pakistan stated that they have been demolished and they have been attacked and they are destroyed. Those claims are also false. There were pictures that were also shown with respect to how these facilities are. And of course, number three, the third point that the Foreign Secretary made is the fact that Pakistan is moving to forward posts, and that will be seen as an escalation, that will be seen as a provocation by India. And of course, India has been retaliating to Pakistan's continuous misadventures into the Indian territory. So, Sumit, we'll take some of these points across to our guest who's joining us. Thank you very much, Commodore, for joining us here on ET Now. First things first, how do you read into last night's developments? Of course, Operation Sindoor has been on, and India's armed forces are very, very effectively and successfully retaliating to Pakistani misadventures.
Obviously, we have gone up the escalating ladder, because for first 2 days we are seeing there were only drone attacks, but now they have, as very rightly mentioned, that they have fired a supersonic high-speed Fateh 2, which is considered to be a very great provocation, in my opinion. And at the same time, we have given them a befitting reply by damaging their infrastructure, their especially cargo holds, and their aircraft ammunition depots on various air stations, like, as you mentioned, Murid, the Rafiki, Noor Khan, which is very close to Rawalpindi, which is also used like the technical areas of our parliament, because that is a very place from where all their VIPs are received, and their ministers and their prime minister, the defense minister, army chief uses that for going to various places. That's a very, very vital for them. And apart from this, we have also carried out an attack on Sargodha, Chaklala airport, which are very major ones. Especially Sargodha has been their main air force station, where they have based their fighter jets like the F-16s and the JF-17s. So there is the overall provocation. And now, as you have said, and even the foreign secretary pointed out that there is a movement on the ground. So far, we were only limited to the missile firing between the two countries, or you can call it aerial warfare was on, the drone warfare was on. But now the ground operation seems to be going on the part of the Pakistan, which means that they probably launch a ground operation with their artillery, with their tanks, with their infantry, the way the foreign secretary was telling that they have mobilized their various divisions on the Indo-Pak border, international border, as well as the LOC. They have already, massed up their army. But coming on to the international border along Punjab and Rajasthan and then Gujarat, and mobilizing with all their tank divisions, their artillery, infantry. That's the very seed of provocation. That means they are now intending to go up the highest level of escalation, in which the ground, the aerial, the missile, as well as the drone fireworks will be on. So this is how I read it. We are moving forward. There doesn't seem to be any U-turn for that matter. And the very firing of their Fateh 2, in the military terms, I can call it a statement that we are coming,
Mr.
we
Singh.
are ready to fight. And
Right, Mr.
similarly,
Singh.
we give them a fitting reply.
Right, Mr. Singh.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Singh, at this moment, I would like to introduce my another guest, Major Mohammed Ali Shah, who is joining us again on this special broadcast. Well, thank you for joining us, Mr. Shah. India has shown today, yesterday also, that it is exercising restraint. Its all actions are measured, while it's in one way started by striking deep inside Pakistan at terrorist camps. Now it is exercising restraints. It shows that India is a mature economy. On the other hand, Pakistan is behaving the way it is expected to be, a country which is really taking even the defense, even the shield of civil aviation or civil aircraft. How do you read this? India acting as a mature economy and a country and a democracy, while Pakistan is behaving as it is expected.
Right. Thank you very much, Jayant. Before I come to your question, I would like to first compliment the entire team of ET Now for the kind of work, the reporting, the coverage, the tireless, the endless. I mean, it is commendable. The work you and your team, your anchors, your guest coordinators, your cameramen, everyone doing is par excellence. You are also soldiering in this field the way we as soldiers are doing. Thank you very much for that. Secondly, yes, now what you mentioned about Pakistan, we can see our leaders. Yesterday, we saw our Prime Minister with the service chiefs, with the NSA, with the CDS. They were having a meeting. They were so calm, composed, so real. Have you ever seen Pakistan ministers, starting from the Prime Minister to the other ministers, the way they behave and they conduct themselves in the parliament? I'm sorry to say, they behave like monkeys, literal monkeys. You saw on 16th April the objectionable, condemnable. I feel ashamed what the Chief of the Army Staff of Pakistan, the remark he gave of the two-nation theory when he was trying to play the religious card. He was trying to do what General Zia-ul Haq had done. And well, that could have worked for him in Pakistan, yes. I think he did emerge strong in Pakistan, yes. Look at the operation the name they've given to the operation now. It is a verse from the Quran. He is trying to communalize it. Who the hell do they think they are? They think they're the leaders of the Muslim community. No one is bothered about them. सारी दुनिया के मुसलमानों का ठेका ले रखा है इन लोगों ने क्या? ये सोचते हैं? They are sadly mistaken. Within Pakistan, they can fool some people, and people would get fooled. See, in Pakistan, the trouble is, there's either upper class or then there's lower society. The lower people who are low of labor class. There's no middle class in Pakistan. So the upper class are all escaping from Pakistan. They've all went. They've all gone to either the Gulf countries or to the West or some other. What about the lower class? We haven't declared an official war as yet. We are still we are trying to show restraint. We only struck the 9 terror targets,
Absolutely.
9 terror camps, the terrorist outfits, the terrorist launch pads. What did Pakistan do? First, it issued a statement that
Absolutely,
they
sir.
will strike.
Right. Right.
Yes, ma'am.
Right, Major Shah, and thank you very much for your opening comments and how you're seeing India's very, very restrained and responsible actions. But let me go back to Commodore Singh. Commodore Singh, let me ask you another very important point, and that's been developing over these past few days, which is of the increasing efforts by the United States and the Saudi side for a mediation as far as resolving this issue is concerned, as far as getting both sides on the table to perhaps arrive at a truce is concerned. How are you seeing these mediation efforts, and how soon is a de-escalation likely?
You see, in my opinion, these mediations are not bad. It's a good step in the right direction because if we can resolve this issue by talking and on the table, talking across each other, I think there is no better solution than this because we have sent a very strong message to the rest of the world that whatever we did on May 7th was very proportionate, very calculated, very calibrated, rational, reasonable, and very balanced. We did not strike them the way they do us on the civilian areas. We only focused on what is called, in a very synchronized, I must say, manner, only on their terrorist infrastructure. Those very places where they were recruiting these terrorists. In fact, the modus operandi of the Pakistan terrorism infrastructure is that you buy these terrorists, these boys from the poor families at the rate of 20, 30, 40, 50,000 rupees. Then you nurture them, you bring them up, indoctrinate them, weaponize them, train them, and make them suicide bombers. So we were targeting in a very calibrated, very focused manner on those very areas, 9, as Major has pointed out, only on 9 very carefully selected targets. And that were also very pinpoint, very synchronized. And the kind of synchronization that we did not cross the LOC. We didn't cross the LOC or IB, international border. Our Rafales, our Mirage 2000, Mark 30 Muskais, they whatever carried, they of course, if I mentioned, they carried what is called smart glide bombs, and then our army fired what you call smart extended range artillery shells with a very hard and credible intelligence. We hit those very precisely. We neutralized those things and we came back. In fact, we never crossed the border. So that was a very responsible, very precise action. And we sent a very positive message to the rest of the world that we are acting with restraint. But unfortunately, the perception on the other side is not the same. They perceive it as we have struck their civilian areas, we have struck the religious places, because one of them was where they were using as a, you can hide out, one of their place of worship. So they have probably gone to the world and told them that, look, Indians are hitting our religious places. So therefore, if the intervention by United States, by UNO or Saudi or anyone comes in to pacify, I think it will be very, very good step in the right direction, because we don't want escalation. We have still not gone up the escalation. We are still, our actions or reactions are very measured. They are very, very measured. We are moving forward in a very balanced way. We are not coming into the catch-22 situation. We don't want war.
Yes, Mr.
So this is something which most people go. But how far we succeed, there is a question mark. There's a question mark, because I have not.
On that note, I will move to.
Yeah, you see, our last point I'll make. You see, for example,
On that note,
in the IMF, the United States have got a great influence. They are influencers there. They could have easily stopped this clearing of loan of 2.3 billion to Pakistan. But I think they have given them a free hand now by granting them the $2.3 billion loan, which we know will be used against us for terrorism and things like that.
Against. Yes, Mr. Singh. Yes, Mr. Singh. I was
Yeah.
actually about to ask this question to Mr. Ali Shah also. Only a development that has happened since yesterday is IMF's giving of $1 billion loan to Pakistan. Well, it is being said that yesterday Pakistan did not escalate situation what it did today or maybe last night because it was waiting for $1 billion. How can you fight a war on empty stomach when it is said, and then Pakistan without having any money and surviving on loan? How long can it survive this war with that money loaned to it, or maybe a bit of reserves, but not like India's thriving economy?
Very well brought out by you. You know, as you said, how can you fight a war on empty stomachs? Napoleon Bonaparte once said, the army marches on its stomach. The morale of our troops is how well you feed them. Now, you know, I am young, I've got hot blood, but let me tell you one thing. In the year 2003, I was at the border, at the line of control in Akhnur, where we saw firing and shelling happening. I was exactly in Akhnur. In fact, I was on the forward post in Akhnur. And my post was 30 meters away from the Pakistani post. And in the middle was the fencing, the line of control, as we call it. They used to fire on us every day. There was ceasefire happened while I was at the post. Ceasefire also happened at the end of 2003. I see enough bloodshed, enough violence that you ask me personally as a soldier. I'm sure Commodore Singh will bear with me when I say, as soldiers, we are prepared to lay down our life for our country, to lie down and be dead if we have to for our country. We have to do everything, but we don't like war. It might look very glamorous and glorious in some Hollywood movies. It's a very, very ghastly thing, actually. So if you ask me, even though I'm young and with hot blood, I would say no to war. But here, in this case, Pakistan has crossed all limits possible. They are the ones who are warmongering. And we are the ones still calm, composed, not willing, not wanting it to escalate. We took our revenge. Even Donald Trump said, okay, now that they've had tit for tat, I hope things get better and things get peaceful. But no, that did not happen. That same night, Pakistan attempted to strike 15 of our military bases, which would not be acceptable to us. Sorry. Of course, we retaliated. And like how? Today, there's a lot of misinformation coming from Pakistan, a lot of fake news. So there's a lot of fake news being spread. And according to them, Indian media is doing propaganda. Okay, I'll tell you one thing. Very amusing. Last 2 days, Major Mohammed Ali Shah, me, I was trending on there, I'm told, on the television channels as a lead villain. That I took it as a compliment. Why? Because I propagate peace.
Right.
Because I propagate peace, yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me come to you, Commodore Singh. Now, on this issue of IMF loan, IMF has been granting a loan to Pakistan for very many years. Of course, there have been issues raised with respect to it, with respect to Pakistan's involvement in terrorist activities, given the fact that it breeds a terror on its own soil. Now, what are India's options so far as establishing a chokehold on Pakistan's economy is concerned? And what diplomatic measures do you think India is going to take so that its own interests are not jeopardized?
You see, India has already taken all diplomatic steps, I must say. Not only that, we have taken what you call like water strike, commercial strike. Tell me?
Yes, sir.
Water strike or the social strike. We have stopped everything, you know, when it comes to Pakistan economy, water, even diplomatically, we have approached all the other countries and explained our position. There is nothing left what our diplomacy can do. Diplomatics have probably done their best. But the only thing which I want to bring in here is that we got to understand Pakistan. Pakistan democracy is very ornamental. It's a cosmetic work there. Their defense minister, their prime minister, their foreign ministers are only like a front office. The actual rule is with the what you call army, deep state. That is why Mark Rubio is talking directly to the army chief there, as he has talked to our foreign minister Jaishankar. So you can make out from here that the West looks at Pakistan differently than what we are. When it comes to our diplomacy, there's nothing left more than what we have already done. I think we are done at our best, and it is for Pakistan now to understand. But will Pakistan understand reason, rationale? Will they be only guided by their perception of jihad? Because in the recent past, we have seen that their army chief, their ISI, had a meeting with the Hamas leadership. And their role model is Turkey Prime President Erdogan, who has a dream of making caliphate in the Middle East. So I think their perceptions are very different. They're driven by different and guided by different ideology altogether. So I don't see any further, improvement or any other effort made in the direction of the diplomacy by the Indian diplomats to bring it to some kind of a peaceful solution. It is the only way forward is now to hit Pakistan militarily, build up pressure on them, and make them known that we are coming if you hit us, and we know where you are, we know what you are doing, who you are, and it is time for you to understand that we will get you wherever you are. So this kind of a military answer is required at this point of time. And let me tell you, I must quote you a verse of wisdom from the ancient, text and wisdom, that to everything there is a season and a time for every matter under the heaven. A time to speak diplomacy, time to keep silent,
Right,
time for war, time for peace, time to make, time to break. So I think we can't do anything now, the time that which has come. So my personal, as a military man, as a military officer, as I fully agree with my friend Major Mohammed Ali Shah, that the only way forward will be now to strike them and strike them nice and proper and make them understand what is required. Otherwise, mealy-mouthing and trying to restrain us all the way, I think will not be a wise step in the right direction. This is how I feel, because Pakistan's perceptions, there's a wide gap as in sophistication of India. India is a highly intelligent, reasonable country. India's economic power is, there's no match with Pakistan. When it comes to even gun power, there's no match with Pakistan. When it comes to diplomatic power, no match with Pakistan.
Correct.
So those people probably only understand militarily when we build up pressure on them. That is a way forward. I'm sorry, this is how we have to probably will be forced to move in that direction. Otherwise, we are a peace living, tolerant people who are interested in Pakistan's Viksat. Bharat ki tarah Viksat Pakistan bhi ho.
But let me interject here. Let me interject here, Commodore Singh. Now, war is not a solution, and it's not good for any parties involved. That's what essentially India has been maintaining. But it says that India reserves its right to strike if there is an escalation from Pakistani side. We are not going to sit back and face those terrorist attacks that are hurting our civilians. Is something that the Foreign Secretary spoke about this morning at the MEA briefing. That Pakistan now is not only attacking our military infrastructure but our civilian infrastructure. Our civilians have also been injured and attacked as well. So that is something that Pakistan is resorting to. Let me come to you, Major Shah. But before that, let me bring in some alerts that we are receiving. Well, the Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has arrived at the Prime Minister's residence. The CDS and 3 army chiefs are also at that residence. There is a meeting currently going on with respect to the security situation, with respect to escalating tensions tensions between India and Pakistan. In fact, Jammu and Kashmir LG Manoj Sinha reviewed the security situation in border district. He tweeted stating that he's anguished by the loss of lives due to unprovoked shelling by Pakistan. He says that we've lost brave citizens and my heartfelt condolences to the bereaved families. Let me come to you, Major Shah. Major Shah, my question now is again centered around global diplomacy, global pressure that's been building on Pakistan. However, there are some countries like Turkey, for instance, which is seen to be supporting Pakistan. China's statement, if you read, China also speaks about the fact that, it discourages both the powers from escalating, but it's not taking a very solid stand so far as standing up against terrorism is concerned. Do you think China and Turkey and several other nations like, these two can really afford now to sort of play the balancing act?
Right, that's a very, very good and a very intelligent question. But before I come to your question, I would like to just give a joining statement from what you said. Yes, the meeting is going to start, and for our viewers, benefit of our viewers, a lot of people would be listening to us. We don't know where the meeting is going to be taking place, but we have no idea about that. It may not be in the usual place where the meetings are held. Now, having said that, now I'll come to it. Yes, the very fact is, Turkey was always with Pakistan. I see it this way. And we, being a country with a lot of human values, when there was an earthquake in Turkey, we provided medicines. Our Air Force went, our military doctors went, our paramedics went. We did our rescue team went. We did a lot of relief and rescue operation unconditionally. Not that now Turkey should now focus on us, because we are humans.
Right,
when
Mr. Shah.
Yes. When there was a problem in Myanmar, we helped out straight away.
Right, Mr. Shah. Mr. Shah, for the sake of time, we will have to cut it short, Mr. Shah. Again, Mr. Shah, thank you for joining us. Mr. Singh, thank you for joining us. For the sake of time, we will have to cut it short, and we'll have to cut it here. But again, it was a very well thought overall, we can say that strategy by India, where it started, but now it's really, really exercising restraint. Thank you, panelists, for joining us, and thank you, viewers, for watching us.